coming up next week, we are going to have a panel discussion session about the future and innovative solutions led by Ken Mandel. I also want to remind everyone that you should have received a survey about the topics for the breakout sessions that we'll have. So we'd really like you to complete that survey and send it back to us. And so, Jean, if you have, we have just a couple of minutes. If you have just a couple of questions for the panelists, that would be great.
Yes, well, thank you, Kenrick, and thanks to all of our participants for engaging so enthusiastically in the chat. Knowing we have just a short amount of time, I'll just highlight one of the themes that came out early in the chat is this concept of inertia, and this documentation being something that we're so accustomed to doing, it's hard to break out of that mold, and recognizing that we need changes happening at the user level, but also at the leadership level. And this panel provided excellent examples of really institution-wide projects that got off the ground and had great success. So I was wondering if any of the panelists would want to comment on how they went about attaining like support or buy-in from senior leadership in order to get those projects started.
Yeah, there's that. We see inertia a lot. I mean, we often encounter an alert. It fires all the time. No one is accepting it. It's not making a difference. But, you know, it's been there forever, and it's about an important topic. You know, we care about transfusion safety, so let's not turn that alert off. And it's really been data that's helped us, right? We've been able to show, like, look, this, you know, the last 2,000 times this alert fired, it's never been accepted. And we get permission for a small trial. Let's turn it off for a week and see if our transfusion reaction rate increases, and it doesn't. And we kind of use data and experiments, and we've been able to overcome inertia that way, but it does require some buy-in from your leadership.
So other theme that came up from the chat. I wanted to mention about the getting the one of the major themes we also saw was this concept of we're thinking a lot, or it's been thought a lot about how we're entering information, but in terms of how are we extracting that information? How is that? I mean, it kind of echoes the 5 rights of clinical decision support. How are we able to find the data that we need at the right time? And I was wondering if through your various experiences, if you came across any ideas that could support some success or improvement in that direction.
Yeah, I'd love to comment on that one. You're absolutely right. I think when I was on service 2 months ago, my biggest stress was, do I have all the information I need to take care of patients without making a mistake? And that vision of a library of books is really how it feels. So I think we need a lot more focus on tools that help surface that information and leveraging FHIR, leveraging other ways to do that. But it takes, going back to your other question, leadership support and leadership buy-in for it, or at least leadership willingness to work with third-party companies who have the time to spend on that. I don't have a brilliant solution other than that, yes, we need to work on it and make it easier to find what we need, and importantly, at the point of care on mobile devices, because it can't always be on a desktop.
So thank you. It is 3 o'clock. We'll have to wrap up with that. I do want to remind everyone to fill out the breakout survey, and we'd love to see you next week when we're talking about future directions. I'd just like to leave with some of the themes that were spotlighted this week. And so things like info entry burden, you know, just thinking about writing once, reusing many times, the ability to easily reference other data in the EHR, info retrieval burden, you know, the widget, quote unquote widget, to review data and represent clean patient summary. Finally, patient-centered co-documentation. That was something, and also patient-centered co-design of the EHR. Finally, documentation should be evidence-based and not consensus-based. So I want to thank all of our panelists. This was a great session, especially the panelists who stayed up very late to participate. So thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next week.